Is Genshin Impact worth playing in 2024? Genshin Impact will be 4 years old this year, so it begs the question, is it still worth playing? We'll be going over a few things in this video. 1. The new player experience, for all of the new or prospecting players watching this video. 2. The returning player experience, for people who have quit the game in the past but are looking to come back this year. And 3. The older player experience and what current players will be dealing with this year. Ready? Let's go. The new player experience in 2024 is way different to how it was when I first started playing back in 2021. When I first started, we just had Mondstadt and Liyue with Inazuma around the corner. As such, it took longer to climb the ranks because overall, there wasn't as much to do in comparison to now. The 2024 experience greets players with Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, and Fontaine. This means that there's more quests to do, more exploration to do, and new characters, even free ones. Let me explain. Aside from getting Amber, Kaya, and Lisa at the beginning of the game, and as you climb your way up the ranks and understand how the game works, you'll be able to unlock more free characters like Barbara, Noelle, Xiangling, and Collei. Sometimes characters will come for free for a limited time. For example, Lynette was free when Fontaine first came out. And with certain events that happen each patch, some 4-stars end up becoming free once you complete a certain amount of things within that event's time frame. For instance, my main account doesn't have too many Fontaine characters, not because I don't want to pull for them. I love the entire Fontaine cast. However, I was fortunate enough to get Fremine for free because he was free from an event in patch 4.2. And if you're a new player, and especially if you're planning on being free to play, that really helps. So you'll be able to play around with an array of characters and elemental reactions, and overall get a feel of how the Genshin gameplay feels for you. As for exploration, Genshin Impact is an open world game. Each region has a slightly different way of exploring it, and with Fontaine, so the newest region, you have the option to explore both overground and underwater, which is a first for Genshin. So if you're really into the game and you end up unlocking Fontaine in a short amount of time, you'll be able to experience that. And in my humble opinion, it's really fun. It's got great music, it's got great dynamics, you can't go wrong with Genshin underwater exploring. So that's my 2 cents on that, but I'm sidetracking. Let's talk about quests. And aside from the countless side quests this game has to offer, let's talk about Archon quests, aka the main storyline of Genshin Impact. When I was playing for the Archon quest for the first time, I was incredibly into the storyline, and I got pretty sad when I finished the Liyue arc and I had to wait for Inazuma. For newer players in 2024, you'll be able to experience the entire Archon quest all the way from the beginning of the game, so in Mondstadt, to Fontaine, meaning that as well as experience points, you'll be able to experience the rich storyline in one hit if you had the time to do that. After Fontaine, there are 2 more regions that have yet to be released in the Teyvat storyline, so that means that you'll have to wait like the rest of us. But until then, you can enjoy what the story of Genshin Impact has to offer so far. On top of all of this, you'll be able to earn a ton of Prima Gems and Wishes just from playing and progressing through the game. This will stop, or at least lessen, by the time you reach the high AR50s. As up there, we're limited to just Spiral Abyss, dailies, and events for the most part when it comes to Prima Gem farming on a regular basis. So my advice would be to learn how to save your Prima Gems early on so that you can use your wishes when you truly feel like you want to, rather than just using them for the sake of it. But overall, there's a lot to learn and a lot to experience as a new player. And if you're playing for the first time, there is a whole lot to get through, more than I've even mentioned, so it's unlikely that you'll get bored. So we've gone over the new player experience, but what about from a returning player's perspective? The returning player is a mix between the new player and the old player. They're an older player because they played the game in the past, but they are also a new player, because most likely they've been out of the game for so long that there are new features, regions, and characters that they're not even familiar with. If you're in this box, I would say that it's worth giving Genshin another chance for a number of reasons. Firstly, Fontaine is the most recent region that's come out, and its Archon quest arc finished up not too long ago now. Depending on how long you've not played the game for, you can get wishes for catching up on the Archon quests. so there's one incentive to start playing again. But also, without giving too much away, Fontaine's Archon quest is incredibly strong, and as a returning player, I think you'd be able to appreciate how far Hoyoverse and Genshin as a whole have come. Gameplay-wise, there are some absolute units that have come out of this region so far. Nouvelette was literally soloing floor 12 of Spiral Abyss when he came out, and Navia, the current shiny new Fontaine 5-star, hits like a truck. Twice. Some fun characters and playstyles have likely come out during your absence, so perhaps it would be worth sticking around and trying them out. At least in my humble opinion, Hoyoverse have done a great job with Fontaine. It's personally become my favourite region, music-wise, looks-wise, and character cast-wise. And before that, and for the longest time, Inazuma was my favourites. So if you want to start playing again, you might find yourself falling in love with a new area that wasn't a thing when you played last. So if you're a returning player or planning on returning or thinking about returning, there are a number of reasons why you can give the game a chance again. And you never know, a character might catch your eye and you might want to start saving for him. So, what's in it for us, current players who have been playing long term? Well, aside from the usual daily grind, aka logging in for 10 minutes a day to do dailies, catch up on events, and maybe do whatever else like Spiral Abyss, exploration, teapotting, TCGing, there's a fair amount to look forward to other than that. Mostly new characters and new areas, as well as the hype for Natlan. Is that how you say it?
You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume.
I'm sick right now, but I'm sorry for saying it wrong. We were introduced to a ton of new characters during the Fontaine Archon quest, as well as during this current events in patch 4.3. While a good handful of these characters have become playable, some are still yet to have their time in the spotlights. So it's fair to assume that all of these characters are going to become playable at some point before the end of the year. So that's one thing. For those interested in exploring, I have no doubts that we'll be seeing continuous updates to Fontaine's exploration areas, both on land and underwater. These will probably come with side quests to do as well. So if lore's your thing, or if exploration is your thing, then I'm sure we have plenty of that coming up for Fontaine. Last but not least, we'll be getting a new region at some point in the second half of the year. Maybe August, who knows. But at some point, we will be saying goodbye to Fontaine this year and making our way over to Natlan. Natlan will of course continue the Archon quest, so that's one thing, and it will also introduce us to new playable characters. We'll be getting new places to explore there too, as well as new lore accompanying said locations. So, if nothing else, Natlan's release alone is enough to at least keep the game installed on our devices, as at the very least, you'll want to have a little sum of Primogems in case you end up falling in love with a Natlan character early on. But until then, we should really use this time to fully enjoy Fontaine and pull for whoever we want. A ton of Fontaine characters will probably be getting their first reruns this year as well, so if you didn't get the chance to pull for them on their first banner, maybe you'll have a chance this time. Whatever the case may be, there is a lot to look forward to for all types of players. But I'd like to know your thoughts. What are you most looking forward to in Genshin this year? Because I know that I've not said everything. Who will you be pulling for this year? Thanks for watching, follow my socials, and comment this bird emoji. Peace!